Yeah, guys, welcome back. And now in this new tutorial, we're going to discuss another complex situation here. And as you can see here, I have a string here, and in this string, we have the backslash coming, and it is coming multiple times. And the complex part of the situation is that we do not know how many backslashes we have, right? If you have a situation where you know that there are two backslashes or there are three backslashes or any specific character which you want to actually count, then perhaps you don't have to use the array and you can simply go and use the mid function, left function, or right function. Now in this exercise, the target is to extract the values after the last slash, after the last backslash. So in this case, you can see I have created a formula, and if you look at the formula, this is a formula, and this has been done using the large function, the mid function, and the row and the offset. One of our favorite functions, row and offset combination. You have seen this many times, in almost every array exercise we go and use it. So this is SGF, this is 888, and this is 899. So if I go and add one more backslash, and if I go and write here Y and I press enter, you see that the formula is very dynamic. It is automatically going to pick up the last value after the last slash. Not only this, if let's say you have many backslashes here, for example, I'm creating here so many backslashes, right? For example, this is what we have got it. Now if I go and try to now let's say go and write this, if I try to press enter, you see that the formula is so dynamic, so powerful, that it is going to extract 54D because it is coming after the last backslash. So let's go and talk about this wonderful situation here. Sit tight and pull your socks because this is going to be very interesting. Right now, this file you can download it obviously, and you can practice on this. So as usual, as you know, the way we have been doing this so far, we are going to write all the steps one by one. Now the first thing is that when you look at this situation, when you look at this kind of the complex situation where you do not know how many backslashes you have to obviously again go and develop the idea. Now to begin with, first of all, what we will do, we will simply go and split all these text entries like we did in the last lecture. So the idea is, in the step one, we will go and split them. For example, we will go and split this A and then O and then O and then this backslash, backslash, and then so this way we are going to split them, and you will have all the the backslashes here. So finally, what we are supposed to do is we are going to simply do the comparison. We are going to check that if this value is equals to your backslash or not. Okay, now this is the same technique we have used in the previous video also, but this time we are after going to check that where we have basically these true coming. Like for example, if I go and show you this, I drag this up till this point. Now you see that I've got here true and I've got here true. Now the only thing which is this time we are doing different is that we do not want that the backslash, this to be considered here, or any backslash. We just want to consider the last backslash. So if I assume that in this text this is the only last backslash, I want to basically find out the position of this backslash. Now in this case, if you look at this is false. So this is the position 1, this is the position 2, this is the position number 3, and this is the 4, this is 5, this is 6, and this is 7, right? Now when you go and multiply this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 with this array which is called false false true true true, wherever we have the true coming, there you will find the number, and the rest of the values are going to be converted to 0. Okay, so this is a sort of thing, the plan. I'm telling you the plan in advance, so that when I go and write the formula, you should be able to understand. So because we have multiplied the false with these numbers, wherever we have the false, now the false means that basically there we don't have any backslash. So there will be an array which is going to give you the positions of the backslash. Like in this case the position is 4, and in this case the position is 7. Now ultimately what we have to do, because I have to extract the number after the last backslash, I will go and find out the position of the last backslash, and that we can do simply by going to by using the large function. Okay, now in the large function we have this privilege that we can go and find out the maximum position, the maximum number. You can also go and use the max. That's okay. So in this case I go and select this complete array, and here I will go and say that the kth element, which is the 1, because I need the first largest number, and finally you will be able to see the 7. Now after the 7, once you got the 7, what is the rest, what is left now? We simply go and use the mid function, and we say that go in the text, and the start number has to be 7 plus 1, because 7 is the position of the last backslash, and obviously we do not want to count the backslash. So that's why we go and say 7 plus 1, and the number of characters, how many characters do you need? Well, we can type in there 100, 200, whatever, because the point is after the backslash we do not know how many number of the values, or the number of characters we have. Like in this case we have 3, in this case we have 3, in this case we have 3, in this case also we have 3. Well, I never I did not do this intentionally, but the point is even if you have more number of characters, you would find here the value which is 54DUYT. So this is the plan. This is how we are going to go and develop this formula. Okay guys, so let's quickly go and start this. So I'm going to first of all go and paste this thing here. Now as I said that first, the step number 1 would be we simply want to go and split these all these the values, individual values, a, o, o, backslash, I, j, backslash, and so on. And to do this we have to go and create an array which gives us the 1 2 3 4 5 sequence, and that is going to be created using the offset function. So we simply go and create this a1. Let's start from this a100, and then I'm going to calculate the length, and the length of d12 and then the number 1, right? I go and press Ctrl Shift Enter. I will be little fast here because this is something we have done so many times. Now you have created here an array, and this array now has to be converted to 1 2 3 4 5 because I want to extract all the values one by one. So I'm going to use the row function, and so you can see that row and the offset function is so much important in the arrays. So once you are done with this, finally you will be able to see this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now I'm again going to copy this and I'm going to paste this output over here so that you can see that what is happening. Now in the step number 1, so what we basically did is to split the cells, to split the values, right? To split the values, we created an array having values like 1 2 3 4, and these are going to act as a start number for your mid function. Okay, this is what we are going to do. Now in the step 1 we have done this. So in the step number 2, obviously since we have to split this, so I will be quick here because this is something we did last time also. Simply copy this and I'm going to say that paste here, and now since we have created this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 and so on, we simply go and write the mid function, and in the mid we go in this text and I press comma, and the start number is, this is 1 2 3 4 5, the entire series, and then the number of characters, how many characters do you want? I want 1 character. And now, as you know, if I go and press F9, I will be able to see all the values, and you can see here we have got the entire array, right? So in the step number 2, we we have basically split it, right? So we have split the values now using mid function. Okay, and I'm going to put the output here. I'm going to paste the output here so that when you go and do the revision, you should be able to understand this, right? So this is the output. Let me go and change this font to 8, right? For example, like this. Now you can see this, I think. Yeah, this is how you can see the entire thing. You can double click on this later. You can go and reset the autofit this. Okay, now guys, once we have created this this array, what is the next thing? Now the next thing which we want to do is, we in the step number 3, I simply want to check the position of so we want to now check the position of backslash. Okay, now how you're going to check the position of the backslash? Well, it's very simple. Please pay attention here. The thing is, if I copy this, first of all I go and copy this here, I paste, first of all I paste this. Now you see we have got this entire array. Now in this entire array you simply go and say equals to, and then you just go and put the backslash. Okay, this is my backslash, and make sure we should be going to put the double quotes. Let me just go and do this again. Okay, yeah. So now I close this and I close this here. Now you will be, if I go and press F9, you will find the true and the false, the array. Now this is the array you can see here, right? So wherever you have a backslash, that exactly, is the target area. So I simply go and press escape and I go and paste the output over here. Now you can see this is the output. So I am not interested in the false because the false does not hold the backslash. I'm interested in the true and the true. Now in this particular case, unlike the last time, we are not going to multiply this array again with this array, because if you go and multiply this array with the same array again, what you're gonna get? You're gonna get false into false 0 and true into true 1. So you will end up having here 0, comma 0, comma 0, comma 1, comma 0, comma 0, comma 1, and so on. So you will get the 0 1 0 1. In this way you will get the array, but we do not need the 1 and the zeros this time. We need the position. We need 7 8 9. What is the position? What is this? Where is this last true? Because this last true actually means that this is the my highest position of a backslash. If you look at this, this is the backslash. You can see that this is the fourth last number, and if you find this, calculate this true, if you try to find this the position of this true, this is also the fourth last in this array. So what to do in this case? Well, it's very simple. We simply go and create the same array, this 1 2 3 4 5, and we are going to multiply this with this array, and eventually you will have the answer. Okay, so just to make my concept clear, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to say that this array is going to be multiplied with this array. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So here I'm going to say multiply, and now I'm going to let me just go and write this manually. So 1 comma 2 comma 3 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 8 9 10, and then so on, 11 12. It depends how many the values we have. So in this case we have the 15 values, so we're going to multiply this with the 15. Okay, now this is how basically you will end up having an array. So when you're going to multiply these two arrays, what will happen? Eventually, all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they are going to be multiplied with these true and the false. Wherever you have the true, the same answer is going to be returned, and wherever you have false, you will get the 0. So eventually, you will have a position called 12 or maybe 8, in return, because wherever you have the true, that basically says that this is the position of the backslash, right? So in the step number 4 here, I'm going to write here the step number 4. So the step number 4, this is very important step. So we're going to multiply two arrays. Okay, we are going to multiply the two arrays. I showed you these two arrays so that we can find the maximum or highest position of a backslash. Right, this is so important. So now let's go and do this. Now you have already, how to create this array 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? This is the array we have created. So now what we simply do is I copy this, and I'm simply going to say Control V. I press Control Shift Enter, and I'm going to now copy this array as well. And so I'm writing all this step by step, but you can do this in one formula also. So you go and write here this multiply with this array. So I'm just, for your clarity, I'm going to basically put the open parenthesis and the close parenthesis here. Now I'm going to say Control Shift Enter, and now let's go and check the output. Okay, so when I go and press F9, let's see that what is the output. Now you can see here, this is the output we have got, 0 0 0 4 7 12. So basically guys, this is what we needed it, right? Because 4 7 12 is what we needed. 4 7 12 are the positions of the backslash in this string, and we need the maximum number. So to get the maximum number, I simply go and copy this, and I'm going to say that I'm just going to paste this output over here once again, and I simply say that, let me go and say that I want to calculate the maximum position, right? So the maximum position is going to come from here, and you can see I got the position as 12. Now if you are interested in calculating using the large function, then you can use the large as well. In that case, what happens, because I need the first largest number, so you go and write the large, and in this large there are two parameters. One is the array and one is the kth position. So this entire thing is your array, and then after you go here, you just need to go and press comma, and you say that first, because this case stands for the first largest number, and then close the bracket, Control Shift Enter. But I'm not going to use the large function here, because this is something we can also manage with the max. However, in this formula I have used the large function. right? So you have the max also, you have the large function also. So finally the 12 is coming. Now one thing you need to understand, as a beginner you may find one thing, that how I'm sure that the maximum number is always going to be the exactly the position I'm looking for. Well guys, understand, you're moving left to right, so whenever you move left to right, the position will always increase. There is no way that the position is going to decrease, right? Now you are finding the position of the backslash, so you start counting from here, right? So Excel always reads this in the left to right, and this is how also we go and write something. If you have to go and write something on the notepad, or maybe in a some textbook, what we do, we always write left to right, isn't it? So if you go in this way, then obviously the position of the backslash, the position which we need is the highest, the largest position. So the largest position will come only for the the backslash which you have in the last. So this backslash, the position of this backslash is always going to be greater than the position of this backslash, and this backslash, the position of this is going to be greater than with this, right? So this is the logic. So that's why once you have got the 12, now what is the next thing you need? Now here I have found, so in the step number 4, now in the step number 5, basically, we use the max, we use the max function, right, to get the highest position of a backslash, right? Now why I calculated this, the maximum position, because once I'm going to add this 1 to it, I'm gonna add 1 to it. Remember this is a very important point. Okay, so I say Control Shift Enter. Now this is 13. Now from the 13th position, this is what I need to extract my value. So you go and say equals to and press Control Shift Enter. So finally now you go and say the mid function start, and in the mid function you say where is your text. Now this is my text, you know that. Now from where you want to start? Well, I want to start exactly the very first position. I want to start from the position which is coming after the last backslash, and you know that my last backslash is was 12, and I added 1 to it because I want to start from 8. If you want to include the backslash, you do not have to add +1, you can remove this +1. Okay, so I press comma. How many characters do you need? Well, after the backslash we are not sure how many characters we will have, so in my case it is not going to be more than 100. I know that, I know my data very well, so I go and use 100. If you have more than 100 characters, maybe you can go for 1000, 2000. That does not matter, because it's very we can simply go and write here 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, 1000, maybe more than 1000. That depends upon how many, basically how your data is going, what is the data trend. If you find your data is too much, it's too big, after the last slash you have too many values, so you can go and use the number of characters according to the largest, the possible, the value. So I'm just using here 100. However, I can manage this with the 10 also, because if you look at this, in my case there is no value greater than 10, but still I go with the 100. So I press Control Shift Enter, and this is what we have got finally, guys. Okay, so this is what exactly we wanted it, right? So after, why I calculated the last position of a backslash and I added 1 to it, I'm repeating it, because after the last position only, the number which comes, this is that number you want to evaluate. Now if you put here one more slash, for example, then you go and write here, let's say U, and then you write here backslash, and then this, and then let's say one more 8, 9. Okay, now what will happen, all the backslash positions will be counted. So if I go and press enter, you see that you're going to get here 89. Now if you go to this specific this formula, and if you go and press F9, see this, what is going to happen. You find here all the positions of backslash now, 4, 7, 12, and now 16, 18, 21 is also coming, right? So these are the positions where we have the backslash, and then using the max function we are able to calculate the highest position. So this is how this is basically the plan. Okay, so let me just quickly go and undo it. So guys, I hope now you are actually understanding the real power, the strength of the arrays, right? And you're also understanding that if you go and learn this super advanced arrays, the one of the complex topic in advanced Excel, basically you're going to uplift your career in advanced Excel, seriously, because you will be able to do the lot of complex tasks without just the VBA. Okay, you can simply go and create these magnificent powerful arrays, right? Well, you go and practice on all these things, on all these exercises. Should you need me anytime, please use this forum, or you can also email me your concerns, and I'm committed to help you, as I always say that, right? Because my job is not just to give you the lectures, but once you go through the lectures and you have the difficulties, there my job starts, which is to help you. Okay, so thank you so much. You have fun with your arrays. Bye bye.